At NAB, we've been able to talk to a lot of people on the vendor side, and we're also getting some input from people on the service provider and the content side. And fortunately, we've had an opportunity to catch up with Maitreyi Krishnaswamy, who is the director of product for FiOS TV at Verizon. Thank you very much, Maitreyi, for talking with us.
My pleasure, Fred.
You have been moving ahead now with I would say pretty aggressively with variations on the TV Everywhere theme, and doing it around whatever the market will allow as far as the rights are concerned, building infrastructure to support that. Why don't you kind of update us on where things stand, both with your FlexView agenda and with the new FiOS Mobile?
So Fred, as you know, Verizon was a big innovator in multi-screen video on demand. And in 2010, we introduced a new service where a customer could buy a movie or a television show once on their set-top box, and for that same price, they would have the flexibility to watch it on up to 4 additional devices. So, for example, Skyfall, I started watching it on my set-top. I had to take off on my flight to Las Vegas, and I was able to continue the movie. And we even offer both a download as well as a streaming option for customers. Keeping in mind that sometimes I might be in a Wi-Fi connection or a 4G connection, but at times I might be on a flight where I have no access. So that's been a very big successful sort of launch for us, and our on-demand penetration has been really high due to that service.
When you say your on-demand penetration has been high due to that service, are you saying that you're just talking about your overall on-demand usage, and that this has become a percentage of that and has added significantly to the total?
It's significantly added to the total, and actually SNL Kagan rated Verizon FiOS as #1, both in on-demand penetration, titles, as well as average revenue per subscriber. So we are twice the average revenue per subscriber compared to our cable competition. So that's been a big success story for us. But the feedback back from customers has really been around, we want a complete borderless entertainment life. Yeah. And so they said, you know what, we want access to all my favorite linear channels as well on our mobile devices. So we listened to the customer. Our CDN, or content delivery network, we expanded that so that we could really deliver high viewership channels, high affinity content to customers on their favorite devices like their iPad. So last November, we launched FiOS Mobile, which now delivers 75 linear channels to our customers. They can watch everything from MTV to MSNBC to SpongeBob to SportsCenter, wide variety of content on their tablet. And what's been really great, Fred, is that the whole user experience is extremely visual, elegant, simple, and our customers describe it as being delightful. It's a visual thumbnail, so you can literally browse all your content as video thumbnails. So even a child who's 5 years old may not know how to read, but they know how to pick SpongeBob and watch it. Right. And that's been really good. And of course, the video quality has been phenomenal on it. As you know, we've evolved our our adaptive profiling to a very high quality. But I think another aspect is really around search and discovery. So finding related content on this app is super easy. So if you are watching, the Obama healthcare update, on CNN, and all of a sudden you said, I want to catch what NBC has to say about it, you can just double tap on your iPad and then see all the related channels with video thumbnails right across on the screen. So it's been easy for customers to find content, and I think that's a sort of a relief for customers from the huge TV set and the set-top, because sometimes customers have come and told me, you have 500 channels, but I just can't find what I want to watch. But on the tablet, I can really find it much easier. And so it's been great. I think one thing we've been very happy about is the engagement time per session has been growing very fast. Right now, our customers spend about 47 minutes per session on the tablet, and the number of customers tends to grow day after day. So overall, it's been a really good story for us.
Of course, it's just the beginning, and you're talking about the iPad. There are other tablets out there, and then of course there are all these other devices, including the Xbox. And I want to ask you about that in a moment. But just to get it clear on the service profiles and how people get these services, with respect to the on-demand element, is that just available to all subscribers and they don't have to do anything, or do they have to sign up for that EdgeView kind of service?
As long as you're a FiOS subscriber, you have access to your FlexView On Demand and FiOS Mobile. So we actually authenticate the customer, make sure that you're a FiOS customer, and then deliver those services to you.
So they're not paying extra for the privilege of paying you for on-demand content?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And that's why I think the service really succeeds and strikes a good chord with our customers, because for the same price of one on-demand title, right, for renting an on-demand title, it could be between $4.99 to $6.99. I can watch it on 5 different screens, and that's what our customers have loved about the service.
As far as the FiOS Mobile, is there a fee for engaging in that?
No, there isn't, and so it's the FiOS Mobile is available to all customers to access while they're in the home. So we position it as a tablet TV in the home. So if I wanted to relax in my backyard and watch my favorite Food Network show and want to watch Anthony Bourdain, I can just take my tablet to the backyard, and gives a lot of flexibility to the customer, and no additional fees or price for it.
Now, while you're calling this FiOS Mobile, it's still linear, and therefore it's bounded by the home and the reach inside the home. As you look at the evolution of this service and this capability, do you expect that things will open up to where that FiOS Mobile service will be available to your FiOS TV subscribers wherever they are?
Yeah, Fred, as you look at this, the customer demand for content everywhere, customers come out and say, I want to watch what I want, when I want, wherever I want, has really caused a lot of interesting sort of discussion amongst content providers, operators, content creators, because it's opening up a lot of questions around rights. The technology today, from a FiOS perspective, is already there. We have a cloud delivery infrastructure. Everything can be delivered over IP. But really the conversation is now with the big 40 networks is really how do we get the rights? How do we measure for usage outside the home? And how do we make sure that there's a good monetization and advertising model around it? So I'm certainly looking forward to it. I think the next few months are going to be very interesting. There's going to be a lot of evolution in this space. And we're definitely committed to keeping up that promise for the customer, and at the same time delivering out-of-home content, but with the right rights and monetization models embedded within it.
Well, you said something very interesting, because a lot of the discussion up to now publicly has been just simply the rights issues, but mentioning advertising and monetization really goes to the heart of the matter, because I assume that the content owners are looking at this situation that's emerging with dynamic advertising. Madison Avenue is pretty excited about it, and certainly the technologies are out there now to support it. And then the question is, okay, how does this pie get divided up? So so they have the rights carrot to hold and say, okay, we want to give you the rights, but we want to share in this advertising game, and you're saying, well, we have to support this with our technology and our networks and everything else, so it can't just be you get to sell all your ads and that's the end of the story. So how are those negotiations going?
I think they're going pretty well, because there's some pretty well established models around monetization. If you look at the normal TV delivery infrastructure, that you see today on set-tops, I think what the industry is really trying to do is really think about measurement, because what drives national advertisers and the value of those ads is the ability to measure the usage of the most popular programs. And as you are familiar, that common currency of measurement is Nielsen. Yeah. Right, on normal TV. And what we're seeing now is that Nielsen is now taking a much more proactive approach towards making sure that that same measurement that we have available on set-tops and TV sets are now available on tablets and other consumer electronic devices. So there's been some interesting announcements around it. We are eagerly awaiting, and we're working together to resolve the problem. I think everyone's taking a proactive approach. So I would definitely look at early next year as bringing some good changes for everyone.
That's really interesting. Of course, when we get into the IP domain and we get into video on tablets and what have you, we're talking about going way past the old Nielsen approaches. And now we're getting real numbers on every possible user, which puts quite a collection burden on the operators. It's not just Nielsen anymore collecting the data, and so you've got to buy into different vendors' approaches to doing this kind of stuff. And do you feel that it's out there now technologically in terms of once there's agreement on what the data points are and how to aggregate them and report things, that the technology is there to really pull this together and that you can deliver on these capabilities?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about the technology, and in fact, we've been at it for at least over 2.5, 3 years, as you're aware, Fred. So we actually, in fact, have pretty good, what I call as analytics around knowing peak times, what are the most popular shows, what are the most popular channels being watched, how does channel viewership change from device to device, for example. And I'll tell you, as we've been observing channel usage and program tune and behavior, as an example on Xbox, even though we have on the face of it a very similar set of channels available as a tablet, you see a completely different type of user behavior. So our peak times are generally after 10 p.m. because you're attracting males between 18 to 35. They're avid gamers or late night comedy, drama, cartoon viewers. So in a sense, the type of channels viewed on those devices is very different from the type of channels that you see, for example, on a tablet, where during the daytime, the children are watching PBS or Disney, and then in the evening times, at prime time, you're seeing more popular, series or, American Idol and those kind of programs that you watch. So it's quite interesting to see that, and we have a pretty good window into it. So I would say technology-wise, I think we have all the right underpinnings. It's all ready. I think it's a matter of us getting, the customers ready. That's most important. I think now it's a matter of us getting together as an industry and making sure that we have all the right business negotiations in place.
Now you mentioned the Xbox, so your FiOS Mobile is available on Xbox as well as the iPad. Are there other devices either in the mix now or coming into the mix soon?
We have a number of other devices. So we're available on Samsung connected TVs and Blu-ray players, LG connected TVs and Blu-ray players as well. So we're on most of the meaningful sort of popular platforms that customers are consuming content today and buying devices. And it's increasing day over day. Android devices are selling like hotcakes. So we continue to keep deploying this content. We keep evolving and deploying to new devices constantly.
Now, I guess one of the questions that's been raised around FiOS TV is the whole idea of, okay, there's been a slowdown in the build out of fiber. That has reverberated to suggest, well, maybe this isn't a great business model. On the other hand, there's the possibility, well, there's wireless and there's all these capabilities that are emerging with LTE. But what you're describing is very upbeat as far as the take rates and part of the metrics around usage, and now this new advertising capability that's emerging out of the IP domain. How does this resonate in terms of your company's strategy? Do you see FiOS TV as being an expansive going forward, where Verizon wants to take a bigger role in the TV marketplace, or is it content to sort of stabilize around the markets it's got?
I think in Verizon, what we've realized is that the growth and demand for mobile video is probably the most significant transformational change that has caused us to really look at our wireline networks, our wireless networks, really upgrade them and their capabilities and build platforms to be able to provide such high bandwidth video consumption experiences. So in a sense, what we believe in is, at the end of the day, the customer's experience is really a sum total of the way they lead their lives. When I'm at home, I want to watch, my content on that 50-inch screen TV, and I want to get the highest fidelity, top HD content. When I'm traveling, I want that same level of flexibility to watch my favorite shows, and I shouldn't be feeling that I have any dead ends in that process. And so what we continue to do is, obviously the FiOS is triple play is an extremely successful part of our business. We were rated #1 in consumer surveys, but the mobile aspect of that, along with our 4G LTE network and applications available on it, are equally important to become a more well-rounded entertainment service for our customers.
And I would expect that more well-rounded entertainment service also involves greater reach at maybe less cost for getting that reach and delivering that experience.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you, Maitreyi.
Thank you very much,
appreciate your
Fred.
time.
My pleasure. Enjoy the show.